sure you have written a program like this, and when you compile it, you may be a bit disappointed with how the output is formatted because everything seems to be jumbled. And yes, we may want to alter that representation using the /t that we would have learned about earlier in the course, in your C++ course, by putting a /t, that's a tab between the different text that you're outputting. And yes, this will provide additional space, but it's going to be dependent on the width of each character that you're, or each string that you're outputting. So let's see how the /t would make things different. So the /t will create a tab between each. All right, so let's see. Now, even with the tab, as you can see, the output is not as neatly represented as we really would want it to be. As you can see, this contact here is out of place. This contact here is also out of place. Now, let's look at a more intuitive approach to align the data on the screen for the user, all right? Because at the end of the day, we really want to provide our users with a user-friendly program, one that they can easily manipulate, all right? So first of all, let's look at how we may align the headings. And to do this, we're going to be using Setw. And in order to use Setw, we're going to include the header file io-manip. All right, and this header file will grant us access to the Setw function, which will be used to set the column width of the output. All right, so the column in which we are outputting the data. So you can just picture it like a spreadsheet. So each piece of string that you're outputting will be displayed in a particular column. The Setw will tell how wide the column ought to be. So if we say Setw, say 14, it's going to create 14 character space. If we say Setw 20, it creates that. All right, and then the text will be displayed in that space. All right, so I'm going to say Setw 14. So this is going to create 14 character spaces. And within that column of 14 character spaces, you're displaying the first name. The next one I'm going to be doing is for the width, Setw again. For the last name, still using 14. All right, and that's going to create 14 character spaces. Then we can display the last name. And of course, this is Setw 14 again. Then we display the contact. All right, so in essence, what we have done is that we have created 3 columns of 14 character spaces. All right, so just picture it based on the Excel sheet. So we create 14 spaces. I'll put the first name here. Then another 14 spaces, we put the last name here. And then in the next 14 spaces, we put contact. All right, so the only difference is that by default, the Setw is going to align the text to the right. So all of these will be aligned to the right. All right, so that's the only difference. All right, so we'll see that in a moment when we compile this program. All right, so let's compile. So there it is. All right, so let's align the actual data now to be displayed below the headings. All right, so again, we're going to be using the 14. I'm going to say Setw 14. And the first name is Daniel. First name is Daniel. Then we'll see Setw again. wisdom, Setw. Last one is for the contact. All right. So let's see how this one is represented now. All right, so far so good. So Daniel, wisdom, and the contact. As you can see, they are aligned to the right, right? So they're in line based on it from the right side. Okay. All right, so let's modify the others to include the Setw. All right. There we go. So we have added the Setw now for Damien, Kimala, and Isaac. So we indicate that we want to create 14 character spaces before we display Damien, 14 character spaces before displaying car, and 14 character spaces before displaying the contact number. And that is repeated for the others. When we run this now, we should observe that they are neatly displayed on the screen. All right. As you can see, they are now aligned to the right. If you want them to be aligned to the left, that can be done quite simply by saying C out left. And we will just do this for each of them. This will actually allow them to be aligned to the left. And if we compile this now, we'll see. All right, so there it is. So they are now aligned to the left. And if at any given point you want them to be aligned back to the right, you can either remove the left or you just change the left to the right, All right, so if we change this word from left to right, then they'll be aligned to the right. All right, so thank you very much for viewing. I hope this helps.